Let me tell you something.
Because of Niyama Binti,
for the sake of certain things,
me pay NPP asem.
I like NPP as a party.
No kwasem ne say.
Now the truth of the matter is this.
08 na omu mehunu me.
In 2008, they had not come to see me.
2012 na omu mehunu me.
In 2012, they had not come to see me.
After 2012,
it was after 2012 that they came to me to see me.
And in
fact, all or many of their top officials came to see me. And they laid their case before me. And I went before God on their behalf. And I saw that the battle was tough.
Because Nipanoa, oh Gina, ama omono, bribedinachi, Sadianeba why, obre wom, okun wom.
And I got to know from a spiritual or prophetic perspective that the person they had chosen to be their leader, there was something that was, let me say, there was an albatross around his neck. And it was pretty much very difficult for that thing to be broken from his life.
Because no me be na
and so it is absolutely true what certain prophets said about the flag bearer then, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, that he cannot be president. From a prophetic dimension, it was true.
And principalities ne powers fighting.
That is why from the horse's own mouth,
in fact, now be fighting.
From the horse's own mouth, he said it himself that the day he came to visit us in church, that there were certain forces that were fighting against his desire to become the president of Ghana.
And
the Lord spoke to me. The Lord said to me that if we can fight and wage war spiritually and break the albatross from his neck, then he can become the leader of Ghana. Maybe so many pastors prayed for him.
But no question say but
the truth also is that there is no person that did so much spiritual work more than I did.
Continuously for 9 months.
Now we prayed for him continuously for 9 months.
3 times a week.
3 times a week. But that aside, the things which happened or transpired spiritually,
and I'm about out about prophesy.
The moment I was sure that the albatross was torn apart and broken, then I came out and declared that Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, come hell or high water, he will be president.
Because
spiritually, what was required of us to do was complete. You know what, brethren, I don't come out to say things in public unless I have completed what I am required to do in the spirit.
Ghana president, don't challenge me
now,
because my head
now before you will hear me say that Mr. So and so or such and such a person will become the president of Ghana at this time, I would have already completed what I'm supposed to do in the spirit. You see, it is part of my call. I I didn't, it was not a skill I learned.
In fact, now, north, south, east, and west. I know.
For that reason, God sends elders, spiritual elders, to come to me to teach me things about the spiritual realm. In fact, I know the way of the spirit in the north, the way of the spirit in the east, west, south. I go to the spiritual realm, and it is the truth I am telling you. I say this in all humility. I am a servant of the Lord. I am just like that donkey whereon Jesus rode. That is how God has made me. I am just like a donkey. So in the sight of God, I am a donkey.
But baby, yes,
but wheresoever Jesus went to, on that day he sat on that donkey.
Menkai decision. Koso afọ man hu bra nyame pie me so. Minim.
Now I
sunsum nhihye for man hu me Owusu Bempah minim. I know.
Now I do not recall of any spiritual decision concerning this nation from the time God elevated me that I did not know about in the realm of the spirit. So on that occasion, when I came out to declare what the Lord had revealed to me, there were so many insults that came at me. So many prophets prophesied, and they prophesied to oppose the prophecy I had given. Some people came out to describe me that I was fake. But time decided the matter. So the time for Ghanaians to go and vote was due. And indeed, Ghanaians cast their ballots for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
2020.
In 2020, the battle was also intense. But I stood out very strong.
NPP Nana Addo no nyame na me so ade ne tena Ghana konya kese so ene asofo bi e ka ho amintimi nka se me nko a me hu se omo teba fom.
Now when I went deep into the spirit, I saw that NPP, the NPP government led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who God brought to power through the prophets of God and some other men of God, I saw that they began to drop in the spiritual realm. So if you remember, right here in this house,
and I'm saying, NPP, more teba form. 2019, 31st December.
So if you recall, 31st December of 2019, it was right here that I stood and said that it seems that NPP, led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, you are dropping in the spiritual realm. Why were they dropping? And I told them to get their loins and climb up.
Now to say, when you're 53, getting to 54, now for Matiaba from the when you're 51.
So I said, and the analogy I made was that it's as if a student who scores 53 point something, almost 54% in an examination, and on the second attempt, you score 51 point something.
Now, at
that time, what I was describing had been revealed to me. Now, spiritually, if we had not put certain things together, it would have been so bad. The drop would have been abysmal. So bad. Drastic. Now let's put that one aside. God started to use me to prophesy about elections in a time when you seated here didn't know me, and I also didn't know you.
Oh, Prempeh Assembly Hall.
And it started in Prempeh Assembly Hall. Now, at the commencement of my prophetic assignment, God brought me to the feet of a prophet called Prophet Kwame Poku.
In fact,
and he brought me up well. He trained me well. And he loved me so much. And he taught me so many things. In addition to what he taught me, by the grace of God, God sent his angels to me, and they taught me so many things as well. So it's a combination of flesh and spirit. Now that spiritual father was well educated. He was knowledgeable. He was an old student of Prempeh College. So when we sit down,
books can they take a book William Braham Wigglesworth.
Now in those days, when we sat down face to face, and he takes his Bible as well as some biblical or Christian literature like books authored by Benson Idahosa, Smith Wigglesworth, and so many others.
Now, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, the tapes.
And he used to play the tapes of the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams. And he taught me so many things through the Bible, Christian
living
literature.
Faithful, almost of penny, or so for penny pa. Now, so Bishop Kwampoku Chireme said the ministry tier. Chireme said the so far ministry tier. Me papa no nyame ho bre.
And my spiritual father at that time spent so much time on me in teaching me so many things about the prophetic, and also even about how other men of God, their ministry were.
Now
I was very zealous, just like I am zealous today.
Na meni awurade atentam na awurade so yisunsumu ne yema kire me sunsumu ne yema so ntimi nka bi nkyira wo dem ha ebi on ma me ka wo be confused.
So after I am done with him, my spiritual father, and he has imparted knowledge, I will go to a hideout, seek the face of God, cry out unto God, and pursue God. And God revealed to me in that time many things which I cannot mention to you because you would not understand or you be confused.
Me free fear akotena baby e fra no mejoso enwura nko na atakwa me dan pe na wo enwura nko me kotena honom more than 1 year.
Now I left home and I went to some place in Ejusu and I stayed there for more than 1 year. There were no houses there. It was only a mud house that you find there. It was only fasting and prayers throughout.
That 2 years,
it was for about 2 years or so.
Na me free muremu ho. Na me ba Kumase. Na me ma me penny a champoma. And me ma me afioku ahumia no musu.
Now, when I come out from that bush, that grove, and I come to see my mother and my mother's senior sister, anytime they saw me, they began to weep. And they were asking, Akwesi, what is wrong? And already you know my stature. I'm not so big or huge. So you can imagine the way I looked. After fasting continuously for over a year, I was so thin and lanky, perhaps very rat-like. Now, that pardon me and give me some time. Let me speak to you today.
I don't hear the phone. My bread. And when you media mommy.
So you know what? I have struggled and toiled. I have worked hard, and God has given me this gift. For me,
Papa Bishop Kwampoku say, Isaac, onyame fra wa frɛ wo no, obesuma amwa kwa ahemfo nkyɛn. Na onyame bɛfa so ama ahemfo atena omunkonwa so. Na onyame bɛmu akwa amampanifo nkyɛn. Na onyame bɛfa so ama amampanifo atena amampanyiya akonwa so. Santa man tenase. Because na minim do person kyerɛ.
Now at that time, what my spiritual father, what my spiritual father used to say to me is that, Isaac, the call of God on your life, God will draw you to kings, and through you, God shall elevate them and put them on their thrones. God will lead you to presidents, and God will lead you, God through you will put them on their seats, presidential seats. And at that time, I could not understand what he meant. In fact, at that time, I could not express myself eloquently in English language. So I thought in my mind, how would I go to kings and presidents?
And he also said
to me, Akwesi, by virtue of the anointing God will bestow on you and the mighty works that God will do through you, you will have so many enemies, but there will be multitudes of people that will love you. Blessed be the name of the Lord, that my spiritual father is still alive. My spiritual father is still alive, and in the appropriate time, he will come here and tell you more of the things. He came here a few years ago, and he said bits and pieces of things about me. So I continued to serve my father, my spiritual father, and it got to a time that God took him out from Ghana to abroad. Now
another powerful man.
God redirected me to another father, very powerful and anointed. Because
Apostle Dr. Victor Say Family Chapel.
All the fathers God gave me are so powerful. So this other spiritual father God led me to is Apostle Dr. Victor Say.
And I'm Papa Wilson.
And another called Papa Wilson.
Software to Hagan.
And Reverend Atuhagan.
Mekai school Amas. I remember church say Bible, my called door Bible I can kind Apostle Edward Camford.
During school days, the person that taught us how to read the Bible and understand it is called Apostle Kwame Fojo.
And the first time, oh, Yamina so prophesy about battle.
So it was in Prempe Assembly Hall that for the first time, God gave me a prophecy about election. And in that time, my understanding was inadequate. And so when I declared what God had told me, people insulted me. And in fact, at the end of the election, the one God showed to me became the president-elect. Now all my colleague pastors that insulted me at that time, they came to me and said to me, Pastor Isaac, indeed, the hand of the Lord is mighty on your life.
Mr. Dubois and Papa Rollins.
In that time, the election was between Mr. Dubois and Rollins.
Ya Papa Rollins crew ya so so ya Papa Kofuana, I don't know. 1996. And also Orion na me ya sorama minia Bishop Salifo Amwako Bishop Salifo Amwako and Rade Biemeni and Rade Kasachem say NDC be win election no na Papa Rollins obedin kunim.
Now again in 96 at Orion Cinema, I was invited by my brother in the Lord, Archbishop-elect Elisha Salifo Amwako, and I was ministering in his church at that time. During the ministration, God told me that the election of the contest between Jerry John Rawlings and John Ajekum Kufuor, it is Jerry John Rawlings that would win the election in 1996, And I declared it.
Now, don't
be tired of hearing what I'm saying, because I am about making a point.
Na papa bi a friend asase jima no ye BNI for boss.
Now at that time there was a man called Asasi Jima. He was BNI boss.
Na ne yere wo ho.
His wife was in church.
Nti ne yere ya pon ya na ne yere ba me nche.
So when we closed, his wife came to me.
And I said, Sofo,
and he said, prophet of God, the hand of God is mighty on you. And she asked me, how can you call somebody you don't know and begin to tell things concerning the life of that person, and everything you say is true? And he said to me, man of God, what you had said, because of what you said, I want to take you to my house. But when I looked at the woman standing before me, now I could tell that she was a great woman. So I followed her and she took me home. And she invited her husband. And she introduced me to her husband. And it was Mr. Asasi Jima. And she told her husband what the Lord revealed to me at Orion Cinema. And so her husband was excited. And so we became friends. And usually we would meet to pray with him.
Papa Rollins and NDC.
We used to intercede for Jerry John Rollins and NDC. There was a time
you use mobile phone. Na Bishop Salifo Amuakon will be Posi. Yeah, Mekai Mr. Nyama Donko. Yes, Mr. Nyama Donko. And all the chair, media kakraka, also dear kakraka.
Now,
kakraka, baby sisu.
Now, in that time, the mobile phones that we had were very huge. I don't remember whether it was Mobitel or what, but it was very huge. And I had one. Prophet Salif Amako had one. So that was the phone I was using at the time. So
intime osofo esiama ena Holy Joe ena sofo edudakon ena sofo amuakon ena sofo Ales na yedoso. So
I heeded his call. I went to him. And he told me he was going to show me something. And I didn't go alone. I went with Pastor Isiama. I went with Prophet Alex. I went with so many people, so many. So we went to the place where he had invited us. It was, at that time, it was Abokobi. He had a very big farm. Animal farms. And that was where we used to go and hide
directions
and pray and do directions for NDC.
And Papa Rollins.
And after that, I met with Jerry John Rollins. And when we met, he spoke Tree to me. He didn't speak English. And he spoke good Tree. Indeed, after that election, he won.
Still, man,
but even though I got to know him, I did not come very close to him. And even when he won that election, I did not even go to him to congratulate him.
Satama busy, meko Takrade, meko Cape Coast, meko Sunyai, na meko Abuche, Canada, US, and him baby. To me, many times, Ghana president.
Now, in that time, I was very busy. I was traveling everywhere, to Takrade, to Sunyane. I was traveling to Canada, to America, to UK, traveling all over the world to do the work of God. So I had very limited time at my hands when I was in Ghana.
1 year, me took 6 times or 7 times.
Now, there were some of the times that in a particular year, I could travel out of the country for more than 6 times.
Every soon, and a radical chem say, Obesisa, Abine.
Now it was time for another election, and the Lord told me that there was going to be a shift. He was going to turn government around.
Now me program our Manor House.
Now in Manor House,
UK, London.
In London, Manor House, UK, I was having a program there.
Reverend Kofo invited me. Obo out to papa.
It was Reverend
Edu Jemfi.
Reverend Kofo and Reverend Edu Jemfi. Reverend Kofo is Obo's father. Reverend Kofo and Reverend Edu Jemfi invited me.
Now those days, no Manor House, snow air talk. A demon my man in the Pagua Bonting, as to snow air talk.
Now in those days, at Manor House,
it
was during winter. It was snowing. The auditorium was full to the brim. Yet there were people outside, and it was quite unprecedented in UK.
Woman be.
So I called a certain woman during prophetic ministration.
And say, "Oh brother, Ghana president."
And I said to her that you have a brother who will be president of Ghana one day.
And
when I was speaking to her, I heard a name as Ajekum.
And I'm saying, your friend Ajekum.
And I said to her that you have a relative called Ajekum. Thus saith the Lord, he is going to become Ghana's president. Now the woman started to jubilate and scream out loudly. And so she ran to Prophet Kofo and said, Papa, we thank God.
My brother was NPP. Now, Oma Chusuno, son name flag bearer. Inti me dreamy. Now, Dabana Beko Ghana, Nipamu, and one meeting come away.
Now,
and I'm saying, Mammy, a power.
Now, out of excitement, she confirmed and said, Man of God, what you are saying is true. I have a brother called Ajekum. He has been elected as the flag bearer of the new patriotic party. And he asked me, Man of God, when are you returning to Ghana? And this was not in secret or behind closed doors. It was in the full glare of the congregation.
Can you believe, sir? Maybe Ghana, woman is edgy off. Enemy not play mobile Ghana. And what they call President Kofo if.
So when I was returning from UK to Ghana, the woman put aside everything she had doing, came with me to Ghana, and took me to President Kofo's house.
And the catcher President Kofo said, when
I met President Kofo, I said to him that now is your time. You can become president of Ghana. And God gave me a prophetic direction to do. At that time, the incumbent president was Jerry John Rawlings. And God used me prophetically to bring him to that position a second time. Now, that is why
I few that one or two penny.
That is why
one pet.
That is why I have said continuously, and I don't really know why that is so, but it seems that position called the presidency, God has used me, or through my hand, God has used me to bring so many people to the presidency, just about a few that I was not involved. Indeed, in that year, President Kofo won the election.
And Papa Rawlings at Tenacoyan, so Yam Pipe Ball, our Bokobi, a fee, Brow Tesoro, Ujian Juma, Niao, rather than a banner or some farm in Sasso. So, even though God used me and my hand to make intercession for Jerry John Rawlings, and Jerry John Rawlings won the election, indeed, when the Lord intended to do a shift, God used me also for the next person the Lord had chosen to bring him to the presidency. Niana men send me bimpo. Name mammy who say Nana Kufuado Edikai Ena ya papa atamils ediachiri Nana Kufuado prone bia ura a danama kotra kunya kasi and so Ena Krofobia distracting attention Ena ya papa atamils finetiko ra danum kotina kunyano so na epunumu katoi me kano dem heya papa una na wo translation
Now, I recall that even that one that I was not involved, God revealed it to me. I saw that candidate Nana Dodanko Akufo-Addo and candidate John Evans Atamils were in a race. Adodanko Akufo-Addo had taken the lead and John Atamils was following. He was trailing after him. But I saw that even though Nana had taken the lead and he was almost at the finish line to enter a door which was open, just at that point, he got distracted by certain people around him, and John Evans Atamils came to pass by him, took the lead, and then entered the door, and the door got closed. Indeed, what I saw took manifestation, and it came to pass. Atamils won the election.
2012 Friday night, and yet sensible.
Now, as for 2012, what the Lord revealed to me did not pass the test of common sense.
Normal.
It was not normal.
NPP be win election, but enyo mu no mo betra konya no so omo ma power, but omo be win election but omo ma power. Eno na Mr. Sani ba me office no say na be den na obi be win election na ontimi enye president. I think say Mr. Sani and Uncle Fee omo mu ba kon am say, and I'm say papa de me hu no na sa na be si na mpa esi ene copy court no.
Now, in fact, in 2012, the prophecy was didn't really make sense, because the prophecy was that NPP will win the election, but they will not sworn into power. They will not be sworn into power. Now, the prophecy really didn't sit well with so many people. One of my elders, I don't recall whether it's Mr. Asani or it was Uncle Fee, that came to me and said, Papa, how is it possible that somebody will win an election and not be sworn into power? And I said to him that, what I said was exactly what I saw. That was what happened in fact. And indeed, that was what led to the 2012 presidential election petition in the Supreme Court of Ghana.
I believe said Mr. Asani.
I believe it was Mr. Asani.
And then Mr. Asani, sorry. Openi ayawa. Una about office baby Sameno. Wonderful.
Now put your hands together for the Lord Jesus.
And some make now
you see, for all the things,
it will help.
For all the things I'm saying, it is not the fact that I have digressed from the message I'm preaching, but you will see that all the things I'm saying are interconnected parts for the conclusion I'm about to make.
And to cut a long story short,
so to cut a long story short, in all instances, what God revealed to me, they all came to pass. Now God said, I have rejected Saul. So he said, for how long would you continue to pray for him? Stop praying for him. Now I was still performing prophetic directions for NPP.
Dr.
Baumia came to this church.
Vice President Baumia.
The Vice President of the Republic of Ghana continued to come here, and even to my house. He came to my house. I even went to his house. I was doing prophetic directions for him.
Now, as a prophet of God, now, as
a prophet of God, it is incumbent on me to know the correct key, the appropriate key we can use to open the door.
Every north, south, east, and west.
So
now you're finding try, because a problem more to this time, no. Safwana me free say betim dia bie no enye ye.
And so
me bube.
And so, as a prophet of God, I said, let's go to the north, south, east, and west, and let's test all the keys and see which key will open the door, because this time around the door is shut, and the key I knew which could have opened the door is not opening the door.
And you make quite a say, yet you be tena konaswa, as you woo in a bayina free so. Namen confess for soon free ho.
So I decided that I will go to a country where they practice the monarchical system of government, so that when you are installed onto the throne, you are there for life. Let's go there. Let me take one of the keys from that place and let's try the door and see whether it will open.
To me, my brother, Sofuna Nakwesi, Madame Fubia Fanny Prince, and me ba Kofi, and your course Swaziland.
So, myself, my brother Nanakwesi, my son Kofi, and a friend of mine called Prince, we traveled out of Ghana. We went to Swaziland, and I went to pick a key. I will not uncode what that key was. So we brought together all the keys.
Our regions, north, east, south, and west.
So we went to the regions, north, east, south, and west. And we came to try the keys. Which of the keys will open the door?
Because a pronomato, Nasafua minim sebetimi abino. Meya na nantimi. So the
door is shut.
We missing me boobe.
The door is shut. The key I know which can open the door. I have tried it. It couldn't open the door. So it was only intelligent that will bring many keys and try those many keys and see whether peradventure any of the keys will open the door. And I am speaking allegorically. You must understand it.
Baby on my bedroom. Nasa siniso a home. Abba catcher will say, the Otia could not so, or ya dear be a yempe. Until Pessia chin, the Twasia could not. Near running no moon pabwa. Enti Onyame, our boss on your sasia qua. You free.
So there are
baby on my bedroom. Was in sure a home. Abba catcher will say, Namidi for your fellow. Yama wa beso. Omo tete. Mene ma. Na me oba tenti. Minia. Me yakoko. Mitia ebaso na minkumba. Na me diabu fo kasa kyerɛw. Anya se ani tumi ye wotumi. A ye betimi ye kum. Nanso ye ya batan. Na nea otigana konya no so. A wa ye ahwe ha. Ama ye sa no. Ye yi ne toase akonya. Enti odifo me pacho wonu nyankopon ne nkasa na ka kire ne se ye mpede ote akonya no so. In fact,
put your hands together for the Lord. Now in our quest to do spiritual work and do some spiritual things, or continue doing some spiritual things, there are certain places which I travel to in the realm of the spirit. There are places you will get to, and the spirits which are custodians of the land will tell you that, prophet of God, the person who is incumbent is doing certain things that we don't like, and so we want to take the seat from beneath him. There are other places that when you get to, you get accosted and you get confronted by water spirits. The water spirits will come to you and say that, man of God, servant of the living God, you know what? This man sitting on the throne is doing things, or he has allowed certain things to be done to us, and we don't want what he's doing. We don't like what he's doing. We are just like a hen with many chicks. You know what? A hen may step on a chick, but it never intends to kill or stifle the chick to death. So please speak to the Lord your God, or the God Most High, about our intentions and the fact that we do not want him to continue to be on that seat.
Mumpani phobia haya che ansa no no ba ono so ba ya ne afiri se ono de akoba me anyi asomdwe ono so kra de wa betete ye kra too much ama ya wounded hwetie me ensase a wo man mu eni nsuonsu a wo man mu buafo aban na ote akonya no so no mutie ne
Now, they furthermore said that his predecessors, people who came before him, they did the same thing, but our expectation was that during his dispensation, he will do something different, or he will make us have our peace of mind. But he has failed to do so. You know what? Many parcels of land and many water bodies in this nation, the spirits that dwell therein are upset with this government.
Sunsum, Makon North, East, South, and West, and Sase, Nsunsio. Now,
spiritually, I've traveled to the north, to the south, to the east, and the west. I've come across spirits that inhabit water bodies, spirits that are territorial, that dwell on lands. I've met with spirits that dwell in trees and even mountains, and they are so livid, they are angry. You see, water bodies have spirits inhabiting them. Now, the fact that you disturb them and they have not killed you does not mean they do not exist.
But I fed you almost say, enough is enough.
But now they said enough is enough. We will not kill.
So how dear, you bet you 2 minutes free Munsem at the Amo before. As some no. Now make cabby, I said to you.
And so they said, as far as we're not going to kill, but if you are not going to ensure that the proper thing is done, then to the extent that we have power to do certain things, we will take power from you. Now, at the time when I was a young man, I was a young man, and I used to reside in Asante Dwabing, a Jusu Dwabing. My grandfather was Nana Otuosrebo. And also Abuosohene. And also Dr. Boateng.
And Owusu Bempah.
And Mr. Owusu Bempah.
Nana Boateng. Ne body nyina te se me.
Nana Boateng. I look just like Nana Boateng and other relatives or ancestors of mine.
Yes, sorry, yes, sir. You be dwaring nsuo. Enti e post ku a na dwaben. Mrantie ni nyina ne mabawa no ni akoburu nsuo e dwaring nsuo a. E ma nsuo na ni ye fi. Minia no ma fe dura na dwo a. Wo beti esu etwa kro no hushia. Adentina mobro mene me masa. Adentina mobro yene ya masa. Esu meka Asante Dwabing. The American a fact. I was there. Mimi ko dware nsuo no mu bi. Afei yankroma konfo. Ebe bo dawro. Ebe sha konfonkom. Se nsuo no oda ho no. Wo se Dwabing kwala ye bro ne ne ma. Etine bu afu. Ntina de bi obesu no na ye nyae. Obetwi afa oman ne so. Ehwa apena na no trosrebo. Eme e bo dawro se mo bia nkodware nsuo no. Ye gya nsuo no mu dware esu na makrom ho biem. Afeye ye kodware nsuo no no oba obema obi adwonso omogya. Odwonso amogya nko a.
Wow.
When the catch was sunsum ni nsuo.
Now, at the time when I was young and I was in a Jusu Dwabing, there was some stream of water that flowed in the town where we lived. And the young boys in that town after school would go and swim in that stream. We used to swim in that stream, and the turbidity became very high. It became bad. So at night, we used to hear somebody wailing and mourning, walking around the town, crying out and said, "Why are you beating up and killing my children?" And we used to hear that continuously very, very late and very dark in the night. So one day, the priest of the Yankroma shrine came out and publicly made an announcement that the spirits that inhabit in that water body has given him information for the young men in that town. And this was the message, that when you come to swim vigorously in that stream, you beat up its children and you hurt some of them. And the spirit is so infuriated and gave a warning that if we do not stop, he was going to rise up against the young men in that city. In fact, the consequence was that many or all the young men that used to swim started to pee blood. They weed blood. It was bloody. So the king made a decree that let nobody go into that stream to swim it. The moment we stopped swimming, indeed and in fact, at night no woman came to cry around the city again.
Yeah, Christopher.
We are Christians.
Yeah, charismatics for.
And we belong to the charismatic. Things like this, we usually don't believe it. But the fact that you don't believe it does not mean it didn't happen or it does not exist.
Miniano. Mekusu ameya me directions. Meya me mpaibo ama NPP and Dr. Baumia. And I rade ebe kachire me say minyade me yeno. Jade wo yeno.
So while I was still in the pursuit of performing directions for NPP and for Dr. Baumia, God came to me and said, my servant, stop what you are doing.
Adentina asase nsuo ebuofu na ewrade a minsugu no so no so se minyai. Now
ask the $1 million question is that why are spirits that inhabit lands and water bodies and natural and other natural bodies, for lack of a better expression, why are they upset? And in addition, God of heaven has come to me to say to me that, my servant, stop what you are doing.
I didn't know Samuel say,
why did God say to Samuel, stop praying and mourning for Saul? What happened? And God revealed it to me. But I am not sure I am prepared to disclose that to you.
Enti osoro buafu amanyokua ode share ode o man share monsa osoro buafu.
And so heaven is upset with the party in power, or the party that formed government.
Na sase yai susu buafu.
And again, the earth, the spiritual entities and custodians of the earth are also upset with the government. So you know what? I have not done anything. So don't channel your frustration and your anger and annoyance toward the prophet of God. And the Lord said, I will shift power into someone else's hand. I will shift power to another political party.
The servant of God, the prophet of God, you are challenging me. Me, who challenging me? Me.
Now, I am surprised that some people are challenging me concerning the prophetic word of God I've given to them. I, the prophet of God, the servant of God, really?
Kusibuafu. Same NDC for my misika. Say 5 billion. Me 5 billion. 5 billion can buy me. Now me panisho. Sa papa no me pesa me kana sem. Because omusane family ene ne ma. Time no that hospital na no awu no. Ah, your friend me call hono. No, your funu no da. Ah, me share no. Boru sunsun. She no jini free wo wonsam in the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. I didn't kwawura ni mu. Ah, fei otumi chia ne ho. Ma doctors no kura hu dwiri wo mo. Ma onwansin ye, ma okeka ne ho. Ma ne ho tɔ no. Ma oba fie be da amase. Meje ni sika. Sama anyi ni sika. NPP ni Mr. Kusibuafo. Owi, wo yira nkan tro so owi. Me ba na wo da ho. Ana wo ko off. Se koma, se dey off. Oxygen system so off. Me so nan boru asunsun. Nyame adom nti je wo kra. Firi wo wonsam. Boru awumu afa wotimi kentene wo ho. Ena wo de meti radio so say me ma kwaji sika free. NDC for 5 billion. Me Owusu Bempah. The servant of God. Paul can send me. Osi anhoa hu hia, ba do tambia hu hia. Me Owusu Bempah. 5 billion betimi atome. Me. God forbid. Me Owusu Bempah. The great Owusu Bempah. 5 billion.
Now, let's ask. Hello, can we have your attention for a moment? Now let's ask ourselves, and let's ask our brother Kusibuafo, that he has alleged that NDC has given me the sum of money worth about 5 billion. Now, is he saying that somebody can buy me with 5 billion? It is never the case. Now, if he does not know, let him ask his wife or children or members of his family. At the time when he was at the brink of death and he was almost lifeless and he was at the hospital and they called me to come and pray for him. At the time I went there, he was almost lifeless. When I got there, I held his feet. And when I got into the realm of the spirit, I saw that the spirit of death had taken his spirit and was taking it away. In the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I rescued the spirit, brought it back to the hospital ward, and in part fixed his spirit back into his body. Instantaneously, he sneezed and was able to respond to stimuli at that time. The doctors in the hospital were surprised at what had happened at that time. He recovered, came home, and came to my house to say thank you to me. Let's ask him whether at that time I took money from him to do what I did for him. Let's ask him. Now, it is very untrue that I, the prophet of God, the servant of the Lord, the prophet Owusu Bempah, the great, will take money to do something for someone.
No. I saw for Ghana ha. Omo tumio.
You see, men of God in Ghana have power.
Na mahu se Ghana ipa bebrebe no embu asofo.
And I've noticed that many people do not respect men of God. And they have reverence for fetish priests and priestesses than men of God.
Me say nyaminipa. Papa. Onyankopon say Samuel jai.
So God said to Samuel, Samuel, stop what you are doing.
But
I have found another. I will end my message soon.
Na fa hon na fa oil gum na ko Jesse asase.
But the Lord said to Samuel, take a horn of oil, go to the house of Jesse
And I
will show you what you're going to do when you get there.
And what did for Samuel say?
And Prophet Samuel said,
Saul is
still the ruler of Israel.
BNI for national security for police for or in charge of them.
And he said to him that Saul is still the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Israel.
Na so so no tia konya no so mfiri so no. Na asimi nya mpa abo amebo no na megyae no. Na me de oil esa kogo before so a obema yakumi o. Ya bechimi yakume.
And he said to the Lord that God, now that you have told me to stop praying for Saul, and you have told me I'm sorry, and you have told me to go to the house of Jesse. If Saul gets to know, he would instruct them to assassinate me.
God
said, don't be afraid. Take a calf, a heifer. And if Saul sees that you are going to Jesse's house, go. If Saul ask you, what are you going to do in Jesse's house? Say to him that you are going to make a sacrifice unto the Lord. When Samuel got to the place, elders came to meet up with him. And they said, Prophet of God, are you here in peace? Or have we sinned against the Lord? And he said, no, I came in peace. And I'm here to offer a sacrifice. Let families gather, including the family of Jesse. But that is not the reason he went there. The king was still incumbent. The king was still ruling.
Samuel and choose Saul. Now,
God did not make Samuel choose the next in line after him or any other member of Samuel's family. And in fact, by all natural means, it could have been Jonathan.
Samuel said, Jesse, now
Samuel whispered to Jesse. Samuel whispered to Jesse and said to Jesse that you are the reason I am here today. After praying, let's go to your house. So when they were done with their sacrifice, he went with Jesse to his house.
And I say, Jesse, Nyame soma me se o manum baako opeso oye ohene na de oteso no Nyame se ompeni biem no ompeni honam nipa bia so biem.
Now Samuel said to Jesse that the Lord wants to select one of your sons and make him king because he has rejected Saul, who is the current king, and he does not want any other member of Saul's family to replace Saul.
Now,
and he said, where are your sons? He said, blessed be the name of the Lord. My sons are here.
Happy.
They were happy
because
the prophet was in their house.
Political party biara, so shall come in favor or more. They will be happy with you.
Listen, every political party, if you prophesy and the prophecy is in favor of them, they will be happy with you.
And no fault.
It is not their fault.
Because
everybody desires power and wants power.
Jesse a friend.
So Jesse called forth his sons.
Eliab.
He called Eliab.
Samuel
looked at him and he said, oh, not Eliab.
Abinadab.
He called Abinadab.
Someone
said, oh, I think it's Abinadab. God said, no, not Abinadab. Shammah came. Someone said he has good stature and he is handsome. God said, no, not Shammah.
The Bible say Jesse had a mama come 7.
The Bible said Jesse brought 7 sons before Prophet Samuel. God said, none of them, neither of these. He said, is there no other child? Number 8. Is there no other child? And he said that child is in the wilderness. And he said, I will not sit. Now he said that God told me to stop praying for Saul. I have stopped. Bring your 8th son to me, and until he comes, I will not sit.
Verse 10, verse 10.
Put your hands together for the Lord.
Hallelujah. Papa can kind.
Odi for someone who made the kind. Eti dunsia. What can free imuna tosu do ebanoa? Na Isaiah emanema ensonu betwa mu. E was Samuel anim. Na Samuel ka kire Isaiah say, Ewurade enyi wo mu bia. Du ba kono say. Na Samuel bisa Isaiah say, Omrante ni nani? Na wase akakuma no na hwe orehwe inwan na Samuel ka kire Isaiah say soma wonkofa namra na yentena se gise wabansa.
Put
your hands together for the Lord.
Hwe utie me adie bia me ye bia me woni reason.
You know what? Everything I do, I have a reason.
And until I catch a political party, be say, so mutimi 8 or mafa.
That is why I said to a political party that if they pick number 8, it has great significance for their victory.
Nanya 1.
It wasn't number 1.
Nanya 3.
It wasn't number 2.
Nanya 4.
Not number 3 or 4 or 5.
Nanya 6.
Or 6.
Nanya 7.
Or 7.
When you know, so your spiritual manner, what in your way, I say, and now the shankum.
Now, if you're a spiritual man and you understand the significance of these things, that is when you are emboldened to prophesy. That is why I said I won't prophesy. I won't say anything about this election.
2015, 2014. Oh, thank you. And when you Emma mi 2024.
Now it was in 2014 that God revealed to me what will happen in 2024. And at that time I said that somebody will become the leader. And after he has completed his assignment and he is going, he's saying bye-bye. He would desire that he will bring the man after him, his vice, to take his place. And I said that all the leaves and branches of the tree would repose their confidence in that vice or that second person coming after the main one.
Some political party no on the co-opposition.
And because of that second man that they have elected, that party will go to opposition.
2014. And then I'm so can't also for video no. Next week, maybe I show video no. Now in Bribi, me go so angame ya kwanchere. And I'm odo aname wo ede my advice. Any NPP and a rade, you know who the actually me, and what me say, Makua, Me na me fa so kan sem we. Nanso say dia me fa so kan ye no. Eno na me pese me ye. Nti jaye.
So while I was still praying, while I was still praying for Dr. Bawumia and the NPP, then God came to me. He manifested himself to me and said to me that, my servant, I am the one who revealed all these things to you. And I made you say all these things. Now, I, the Lord, I want to do what I revealed to you. So please put a stop to what you are doing, or else you will be put to shame.
And I'm saying, Raddy.
And I said to the Lord,
and you catch them say, oh, my NDC, Omo flag bearer, Omo candifui, on your president.
Then I said to the Lord, were you not the one who said to me that the flag bearer of NDC will never be president again?
And
the Lord said, I am the one who said it to you. And the Lord said to me, but do you remember I gave you a caveat to what I said? And even with that, you did not want to say it. And spiritually, I rebuked you and you came out to speak.
And
the Lord said to me, the reason you didn't want to say it is that you love the person who through you I brought to the place of power. You love him. That is why I rebuked you and you came out to say the remaining part of the word I gave you, which you had encrypted. And the Lord said to me, I revealed something to you. And because of what I revealed to you, I said that by virtue of what you have seen, I will not make him come to the place of power again. But if he gets a mighty hand, and when that mighty hand falls on him, the yoke will break from his neck. Like I said to Esau, that there is your brother's yoke is on your neck. But when you are restless, and that yoke breaks from your neck, you would also be great.
Esau Jacob say, so
Esau said to his brother Jacob that you have brought to me a flock of cattle and ram and goats and all that. But you know what? I don't need it because what I have is more than what you are bringing. It is because the yoke was broken. Now, between you and I, who is greater? In terms of assets, Esau, I have more assets. I have more assets than you, Jacob. In terms of might and strength, I am mightier than you, Jacob. In terms of military might, I have more military might than you. In terms of land acquisition, I have acquired more land than you. You notice that as you were approaching, you have been crawling on the ground. You took the blessing from me and my seniority. But when I broke your yoke from my neck, I have taken what you took from me back. Now, who is mighty and who is greater?
And I'm saying, Abraham
now, because Esau said to Jacob, because the God of our grandfather Abraham has blessed me and made me great, come and hug me. And they hugged each other. The Bible said both of them wept. As I'm about to end my message, a certain hand has come down upon someone according to the word of the Lord. And because of that, a certain curse or a certain yoke is broken. The curse is broken, is shattered.
Onyankopon ose Mose Misrimfo epewakum.
Now God said, Moses, the people of Egypt are seeking your life to slay you
because
of something you did. But you have come before me. They have not forgiven you, but I, the Lord, I have forgiven you. The land whereon you stand is a holy land. Take off the shoes off your feet, and because today I have blessed you here, I'm going to vest power to you. Now people may condemn you, but if God does not sustain it, it shall not stand. People may curse you, but if God does not sustain it, it shall not stand. Now you can offend or do what is wrong. People will hold it against you, but God will not forgive you.
Leviticus chapter 11. Bible says, "Onyame ka kire Israel for say moa we omohonte mo biamfa ne sanka."
Wow. Now, as I end my message in Leviticus chapter 11, God gave a list of certain animals which He classified as unclean. Let no man eat them.
But Acts chapter 10.
But in Acts chapter 10,
Peter hunu say, "And you fita ya bonopo and 9 hunti gum bebre." Onyankopon say, "Peter, so the kum nedi." Peter said, "No. Erade eyechiwade wa na aka se me mfe nsanka na enye wo so uchiri." Onyankopon say, "Peter, diamate ho no yankasa efi bi."
Now in Acts chapter 10, God said to Peter, God showed Peter a veil that dropped from heaven, and the corners of the veil was tied to the four corners of the earth. And in that veil there were unclean animals, unclean according to Leviticus chapter 11. And God said to him that Peter, rise up, kill and eat. Peter said, no, it is an abomination that I should eat of any of these animals in that veil. God said, what I have sanctified, let no man call unclean. Now this is my conclusion. This is my conclusion.
Na enyura fita no mmoa no na eya mama mufo a ye ne ka ho bi na Yesu ebewu ye di ne mogya ebetire ye ho enti sese yen yenye achiwade abiem na mom ye ho ate na mogwama ne mogya enti enu nti onyame betimi ehunu obi se ye achiwade brebi ye twam sa nipa no hunu ne ho so hwe tu anamo Awurade pese otu nyame na betimi akoni pane cha ka cha ne se mi hunu na ho nte ba fa de ho te enti.
Now that's deep. And so the significance of the animals in the veil represented Gentiles who were not part of the commonwealth of Israel, but by virtue of the death and resurrection of Jesus, we have been sanctified by the blood of Jesus. So no more are Gentiles unclean. Now in a certain time, God may see someone and say that you are unclean, and God may withdraw from the person. But if the person is diligent and knows how to take his steps, God will return to the person and say that some time ago you were classified as unclean, but this time because of how diligent you have been, you are sanctified.
Onyame ontime nsesanda.
You see,
God adebo nyina wura onsesa.
God is,
but otumi sesanda adwene.
Amen. God is immutable. He changes not. He is the God of all creation, and all sovereignty lies in him. But even though God does not change, he changes his mind.
Onyame se mebu afu.
God said he got angry.
I am going
to kill all these Israelites in this wilderness. Moses said to God, God, do not do what you are doing. Because the Gentiles will say that you have brought Israel out of Egypt to an unknown place to kill them, and that you were a wicked God. And so God refrained from your thoughts. The Bible said, and God repented. He changed his mind. God can change his mind. Put your hands together for the Lord.
Ana metese nkrofo ka say enyo Owusu Bempah na ka say ya papa Mahama ntimi ya president biem na afi ono ase and as I said you be president e kire so ye fake me pa cho Prophet Samuel na e no sra so e ma ne ye president the same Prophet Samuel ya e no ka kire so say nyame age ahini na firi wusem na ode ama David enti Samuel we ye fake ana.
Now I hear people say that is it not the same Prophet Owusu Bempah that said that ex-president Mahama can never be president again? Now what has changed? It is the same God that spoke to Samuel to anoint Saul to make him the king. Is it not the same God that spoke to Samuel again and said to him that go to the house of Jesse and anoint David to become the king because I rejected Saul? If in that time God used Samuel to do that, does it mean Samuel was fake?
Did David by?
They brought David,
the 8th son.
He was the 8th son. Now he was the 8th son that was brought to Samuel. And Prophet Samuel poured oil on him.
David so.
He poured the oil on David.
The 8th son.
The 8th son.
Lo and behold, Obey King president.
Lo and behold, he became the king because a mighty hand brought him out of the wilderness and he became king. It was the hand of Samuel.
Now, Munimunsa ato President Mahama so. Munimunsa ato.
Now, do you know the hand that has come upon President Mahama? Not on the day he fellowshipped with the clergy. No.
Time untumi enkrofo didi matem ewo TV so pa me say me na me sabotage sofo kusibuaten ena ma cathedral no wantimi yansi nti me ni bre osofo no me bronsam de kasa kire me mfiri nyame na nkrofo iso omo ka asemi se dawuro se ho ahwan me hwa omo wo me mobile phone so me hu sa moti agye no machi ko jambu bobo muti omo represent konfo anoche abosum anoche konfo nsuman omo gyina nkrofo yachi akoye otuo ya na o kasa yi was why I interview so ya dey amoti agina wachi wo kra no wo hia deliverance amoti o mu fra wo kugwa atwa ho ahia mimi nim no me hu ne da ba de ba hunu na me hwe ma de na me de ma hu hwa minua no me ka no kra kire mo. David so, now, Samuel, the oil good so.
The truth is that the Spirit of the Lord came upon David at the time he poured oil
Isaiah
on him.
It
was Isaiah
because
that God said to that God spoke to and said to him, go to King Hezekiah to put his house in order. Na no yemienu o kan sem ba ko ne ade a che no be kan foforo ne enyenka Isaiah so na no yemienu because ono an ka che Hezekiah say your will ubewu. Now they have accused Prophet Owusu Bempah that he says one thing today and changes what he has said. He is not consistent in what he says. Then if that is so, then Isaiah was also inconsistent in what he said, because he said one thing one day that Hezekiah was going to die, and in the same day he changed it and said, "That's the year the Lord, you won't die."
Minimum waha. Afiwe. When the Mexican Martian comes on the bear president.
You didn't see that.
That's what we say. Me Martian come. Say Dr. Bamian bear president. And I mean Massa Bashankom. Say, yeah, Papa Mahama and bear president. It to me a fake. Muni media moka. Me na me yama quenchre at Yama Dr. Baumia. And when you stop me. And non say, me can say, obey president. I'm Sakonyana or Tenasono. And when I me say that the Mumusa Samia Uku. O man a catch him say, Vice, why am re? Ampa or sorry a crown or frusra or call Bonkum Nifa and San Obedra. Timothy Samani in a hole. Namsino. Makonya menaya meya metras no satams no mu ya chiriwia. And I'm saying no, mean stretch it openisa. Yaman entrance no nkyere say Machan comes to be president. Enya no kure. Afa mom na commission aba. Afa na commission aba. Etimi no. Tam na no mo di TV ni su di matem no. Na me ne Reverend Steve Wingam, Assemblies of God Sofu Penny, na me ne no ene President Mahama nhyia baby ada. Na mo atem die na chi bibi sansi. Ya papa Baumia kwa koje ne forms afele. Ode kwa koma yisi. Na ya invite asofo firi Kumase. The private plane afoma firi Kumase abakra. Mene mo ne onkra ha. Me na me ye mpaebo ni akwankyere akọ regents amiguso me ye mpaebo yi. Mo ntimi mpo amfa phone. An invite me se membra. Ne nyina ye nkamom. Na ye mo mpaye. Emma vice. The mihu ya ne say mahyiam sa party office o sa vice fee o aye saa de na wie sesi ampo na mayimi afiri mu ba da enya no eno kra de memfa ho eno kra de so ma ya me de chance akra ebra Nana Kufuado ewini 2016 o ma invite me and na me ka kire mo sai swaying no o ma mra me invitation enipa makon din sei o man pani na nado nti ye di tuo ba me so shutu ya ama boba ne bi mpa nka me ka na ka me ka tai na nkunim di aba ye kosua papa yi na mo invite me enti obi ba soro han mo ye sojani e na ofre Jubilee House no say adentina mo amre papa invite afa mu hu di omoka enti baabi ana asofo no nkonya wo no sofo bia ne din bona konya ho me na me din ya konya bia ho enu nti afei obi card omo de command no omo twa mu tworo mi din enu omo suma me ya de bre me ena ko ba say omo mu ba ko ka say papa untimi nkonko gina wiem fere na asofo akonya no so ayema saa de ne baabi a metena no memo atena me nchen am say Mr. Adon asebibi Adon enunti na hu sem nam red carpet no so enya se ne ye hyema ni monyam o dabi Adon baabi a no nam a ode me kan ho no ena ma me fa red carpet no so na me nka ho bi because na me din kura nim ye me frim eso still me kwaso bompae ama o man penny na nado tana chima 2020 o say we need election enti we no yaya me de chance da e kira kra ya nchi me ntum but mo bin kasa yaudie na me de yesa yaudie never nemom de nyame akira me no e na maka erade na say me na mo so na sra solo ngo say ma reject no kosro bi foforo ngo eno na maye no the same Samuel I was Saul the same Samuel and was David ngo enti kai na hu no say enya yawdie teme de ma no si me ya sorry say ne mentimi anya administration na me ya adoma next week menya bre ay administration more enti Ghana for a monte Owusu Bempah ase na monte me frase senka yawdie dia ene nka me mprim poma omunsi aso dem ha ka me mpre kra ma vice ma ha ka me mpre amobi ama ha enya yawdie sanse osofo de me nya ye nyina yese me ye yese me di tuo ko obi so eso nya no kre ni ye ko ama maame na hunu me nua na kwasi sɛ de ɔteɛ ɛne abrante bi efe na kwasi buache sɛ de ɔno so te no hunu nipa na wo di na temo social media ne so no no hu sɛ nya me brother no no agya matem didie because ofiri sɛ me brother na kwasi ɛna ɔyɛ ne TV program na ɔ send messages edididi na tem ɔyɛ fɛnse captions edididi na tem ɛso nya me brother na kwasi na kwasi bi efe no akwasi akwasi aboagye ase bibi nya me brother tina ye kwa mama me na hunu so mama ne ka kire ohene ne se Owusu Bempah ba hanom se o peace mini peace bi a me de be ma no free police se me di tuo abani fie eso ahemfo yi ene ka se ye nkohia na me ma ohu me brother no na onfa akwasi boakye ne picture en compare me brother no ohu se nya me brother enu ntini ye ko ho na asem no me mpese me kirem bebre esa na kwese o kasa wadodo na mafa so de yakye me na no kura so deedi say me de me support ama honorable Alanchremanten enu nti mpanifo abu afu me nti no ma kye me na nipa obetimi ame agya me nipa ba akopɛ osofo Victor Kosi Boateng enam se chama huntumi saa na wo ka kire me wo se saa na tie na me kɔ na me ni o makɔ kasa because ono pe no obetimi ni IGP akasa me agya wo na vice ene IGP e woni fie enam se mate afa me frɛ chama huntumi fu adum me honom na Mr. John Buadu eba sell so saa tam ye nyamfa me nkɔhye na me narrative story ni nyina kyɛ no se ene ɛsɛ ni kwa sɛ omu ye de omu ye enam se papa me kura no hono abanan Chamanten mahu no so ne nam ho ba me ne ntra asese kura nkasa ada enti anya no kre sa me me support ama hono abanan Chamanten because chief of staff ma me free mo pareado wona afre me se o man pani na nado se me fa me support ema baumia na ono o man pani pe enam se mate ampa mi di so na fe de hwan be kan sa asem no kire mo se me de me support akoma Alanchremanten enu nti yemfa me nkotum na je Victor Kosi Boateng pe ene betimi am ye gya me ampara honorable John Buadi ohemanim ose papa de anya hwe omo so omo do tuma de omo mfon tumo kira meba ampa yesi ni nyim atade ne nka me supporter emma no so so no ene ye de yi e opposite na ma ne nyina so no so Owusu Bempah nie to omo nyina ba gyina ho na prosifo force me awro ma ho amana ka ne pant adofo no me a piami asese my week because me ba so man di and as I time no crash na me home fa me papa but na nya too much me am hu say bre because na me co training too much minianom omo di mi shem na me vomite me fe papa me fi afen mani so brime and omo cells on no ba ko ka kire police ni na onom ni se osofo Owusu Bempah yenim so ko ofo em se oda ha na ne ho wosu kikikiki police for no be hwe ampa omu nsa me ho woso ma fe ene yesi ade me call police hospital ene ade me call police hospital doctor na check him in o say o pressure cost do me so mini pressure Maybe you know me a faith power. Mini pressure. Me to me about 2 hours. Opa Mumusa soccer doctor mo. Ana atamosis mo. Ana say Ubusa Samuel Jan Krobe catch all. Me no more bubble. What must say? At me age, me to me bubble more than 2 hours. But me name the see here. You have to trip persimmons. Now press 4, 8. Abba say, IGPC. Yanfa hako fe ngumensa. Order from above. Now fe baby a drip no. Ewo no. Eho na ede handcuff na body abom pem. Me pesa me call washroom kura akwadwo nso a. Handcuff bom mensa mintimi. Nti no say sabe me de me dwonso hye me ho. Ena me sofa. Me ka kura say me ka kire gentleman say me pesa me use washroom, pesa me dwonso. Oso oh, ye betimi abre me polythene bag. Black ni bi. Ah wa yi ode ba. And I'm saying, yeah. Minkum nipa. And one thing I know you almost say, I'll dear, yes, because of the Omaya meeting. And ya dear. Minianum. Afei. Mensa hono. Because drip esimisa. Doctor no credit before free ho. Says a bibi ya sofona. Eyamasem. Emma. Osofu chance also frɛ me lawyer lawyer Gary no mako catch and say send no more dey ye odifo Owusu Bempah eno say ne bra ne hu kwa be fa so enti sofu chance also call ho okoye a lawyer ne kan sem bi kire no o se ade no de efri ba bi efri na me ye call bi Turi edin etie no ye call no na semwa nipa ne kan ye no afei sofu chance osu bonani na osu o say hey NPP sa na mo de aye papa yi sa o ma agenda ne say ye de me kotun wa kuse IGP dan parese obedi asemo ye chi akosisi ye be jeli me ye de makwa akohyem e won samom ana akuse ante sa unrested. Naminianum, Yadimia court. Judge in the crowd, asem na whom meno, or so, was some way crown, a mogu, or made a major of an amana baby, in a way, ni send us and be a hunyasa. Namo muni person amo yensa. Judge to one ya call, or crochet inside no peer by ya, Nenimasan. Me lawyer, Gary Nimakon Casacross on Cananutum on your dean. Most have fun question 2 weeks. Say 1 week. Oh, Bonnie Ben am I? At the end of my charge banner, Yadia Bommy. I'm Pomodimi Cotum. Meaning I made Damu back 3 days and now 4 days. Minianum. Me Damina, no, you my kusu. No, sure, FFN. Nti we nyina ma hunu se power e wo ho chidi ya obetimi a chi Peter ba nyame amfa ne nkwa anhye wo nsem a abofo baba beyi no na woni mbiribi afei wo mu ahunu se de ekoso na nye we no opani bi a no wa bo kira de ne si oba ya de abufuo e call mo so no se he e de na mo ye no mugum ho ani masintimu papa ya nyame nam no so e de aba ban mu e na mo ye ne saa no afei me ohono ma na assistant IGP sorry assistant maame fremo pare assistant no assistant chief of staff obaya o se na na se mebubu sa so ho te say me hwe nanim din na musuti Miniano na anajo yasa de makwa koto hospital because still na me hon told me ne asa de handcuff a be bomb asa bompem anajo me on man na prosifo aba adanso no me baro me so da me nyani so ade hunu eno kra na me na me chichire wall no na masam me nan. And I mean, who say, police for 8 awomode mask ahyɛ omanim ede mawura pickup bim ana baako ayere me ha ana baako ayere me ha na handcuff ebo me nsa ana baako te front ana de drive no sini na de te front no ede ne nkotodwa sisi akonya na ote so no so ana wayi injection ana ode ba bewo me ha for de ba nam so mu ewo revelation no to me screen and struggle na no buye na metia mu epi abonte ma omo so nyina kra te ema ba ko bebu sam say papa wo ho ye me say ai ono kra no e police ni bia na ohyem ampa me catch nana kwasi me brother sese na mehu to on kan kire osofo cha so osumo nti afei papa yawo ena me second born Kofi ena nana kwasi ena omude me car apake wo police ayi hono hospital esumbim ena omo hwe omo ntimi nna we beda adisemienu no eni atiansa enti obi ada se 1 hour se 2 hours na we ada 1 hour 2 hours anytime bia ompeso omo hu de ekoso omo hono ma ampa na pick up abesio police for 8 cia omo de mass charge omo nim kutakuta tuo me shawon msa de mu ya ne se omo ba se mpanifo bi so omo mefa memra ena omo yi handcuff no efri mpanom no mo de ball me no mo de me kowura aka no na me bu so msa na mo de me koy omo mfi me ho na papa yawo awule ene na kwasi omo move me car na be si apostle car de nim me ka se na kwasi so di ni phone a video omo de mask na show omo nim nya na o video twitwa pictures video car na twa car na picture minu no mo de me koy omo mfi omo move car no na awule so move car na di akire na ansa na no me brother na kwasi catch the police for ne say ye frɛ Mr. Charles Owusu, Mr. Hobson Adoye, Yabefre, Mr. NS Owusu Bempah, Yabefre from Munina, Afrefra Sodom Penny for some befa papa de neko, Yinim baby amo de neko, Omo fi cry, Omo muvu kana, I will assume muvu kani diachi, Omo de me kofa headquarters in Yamuho. Na still, I will mudi actually, no more de me pia kofa British. Embassy, side British, Edma Kofa, Nastel, Omudi Kofa Osu, Kofa Stadium, Kopia Jubilee House, still, Nana Kwasi, any awule Mudika ni Diomachi. A favor Kosia, o Friswa Caponatum, the Prunamuanto, the MT answer the broken English, a catch any panase, Maiming Crawford the cast idiotry. Na still omo fa memra na say omunyai dem tia so oka say sa ntime yemfa ne mba ti yenye no another time you and na for omo sand me call back to cells yamfa man call hospital hokora biem cell no mo ko ja me to ye na am say revelation ya me hu yi na chese nko mo ko me pane akumi o tinka nyese nya me ma me hu ye ame mana na kwasi ane me brother Wule ane me ba Kofi osofo na kwasi mu edi akire frafran krofo mo de kas be di akire a komu kokume anka dampare nko kokume na chese de nyame ma me hu ya no sa pepepepepepe mini anom o ma ye me sa ne ma we nyina eso still o mo di dwatoa e ko archbishop anim so ma pani ana asoma vice any NPP mpanifo Mr. Samia Nku ka ho Mr. Fredo Ware ka ho omo mepa me chew me jai ma ne kai me jai de chew mo tunso mo ba ha ama Mr. Samia Nku be ka se nyame nipa sa oba dwunso gu sire so a ye ntwantwene ne pepa ama me jai de chew mo ama me san ye se me ne pa bo beta akire na ye mom me guso a me ye mpa ebo no minim die nti anyame ese wa reject wo mo enti anyame fault enti sa abronya ka se wo de ne car kosi so mesumi fa car mesi so a o abronye o power anka okwa stande wa ma me fie se me empire ma ansa na wako you came to my house now abronye o ka na aworo me ka se wo me fie emu de hin na obetimi dia compare o ka opa akokoto brand new car na mseme to brand new car na ye fancy so na wo awe car no a wo de besi me Porsche car ha mo ba hwe ebe mo nwa NPP mo ba hwe ebe mo nwa mo challenge me you are challenging me mo challenge me onyame difo Odi ampacho yedin na me fama nunsi pacho yedin sha unim odi ampacho yedin netie yedin pacho yedin sha utie se omo paniyi a awosen ko mo bro mo ho ase na still omo pekwan bi so enemy nya ayonkofa sebe ya after President John Dramani Mahama 2028 ebia nya me behu omo mobo amo masaba ba mo challenge me mo musumu be win election way tie me se nyame ankasa nkyere me mpo a de meye no akwankyera meye no hwe NPP muntie me listen party no enya media enya me nkwa na me asofo mo pa munni matem me se samimi nimbi muntime mapa wada ena se mafrim ye behwe samo se mo be wini ama abronye ediniki ato so agane ka o challenge me na munim kwa faso ewini aba ayamu samo na asi bibi so de mo free samo na asi so no ena me so ena munya asan hoto so munim koma e so me ne vice president entem wo abronya unfiswa enti ummambi ebunu ni na okasa ebunu kasa nkro de say lawyer no obiri yabo a unfiswa enti wo vice onu ni sa nkomo no kusi buafo unfiswa enti vice onu ni sa nkomo no unim kuta hodi akoso wo me ne vice entem me na me kire vice de wonye a on betimi amane ma dane me na me kire no me yesunsumu niema esonamu na me kire omo niema bi ubetim me onyame akoa the great Owusu Bempah ubetim me you are lying ubetim me ube challenge me ebra me de masama eba wie se NPP fo anhwe yi 40% kro munya 40% kro mu di agora munya mo munkunim de asafo ekutami o 2016 eno nyame de share me nsam se eda so kutami asma makan wa we blogger anasa presenter na obedi matem se me nyame difu a yare be bon a wunya bi odi ade makan obi pa hwa onim the more na mu provoke me no the more na mu lose vote ana munim na mo hwe na me tisi Asante region mudi agro na me kwa Asante region 85% na more pen. Man here 60% kramunya. You don't know me. Ejran kamunya. Enti enya yaudie asasi arejate omo. Sense omo leadership. Oma man ye mebi. ama asase akoma antone yam Ghana asase buafu NPP political party ensuonsuo buafu enua buafu mo eno osoro susu buafu onyame tene ba bi nso besi dan ma no edan na wai media metete say $58 million say $54 million mo de ba besi dan no yenhu ba bi afa mu ya mo de makotena chama wuntumi TV so say ya me Owusu Bempah ena me kotia mo ena mo antimi ansi mo cathedral